Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight, I have a story for you that will make you think twice about moving into that cheap, old apartment you've been eyeing. This is the chilling tale of room 313. Laura was a nursing student from Manila, and like many students, she was excited for a taste of independence. She found a dorm near her university that was perfect for her budget. It was an old 5-story building, the kind with long narrow hallways, paint peeling off the walls, and that weird, distinct smell of old detergent mixed with damp wood. It had character, she told herself. Her assigned room was 313, right on the 3rd floor. The landlady, a sweet but serious elderly woman with her gray hair always in a tight bun, handed her the key with a single, strange piece of advice. "If you hear knocking after midnight," she said, her voice low, "don't open the door." Lara just gave a nervous little laugh. She figured it was just an old wives' tale, a creepy joke to spook the new tenants. She was a woman of science. After all, a little ghost story wasn't going to scare her. The first 2 nights in room 313 were completely normal. Lara settled in, organized her books, and got into her study routine. She'd stay up late, cramming for exams, watch a few videos to unwind, and then fall asleep with her bedside lamp casting a warm, comforting glow across the room. She was starting to feel at home. But on the 3rd night, everything changed. Sometime, deep in the night, she was jolted awake by a sound that sent a jolt of pure ice through her veins. Knock, knock, knock 3, soft, but very distinct knocks. Laura's heart hammered against her ribs. The sound wasn't coming from her door. It wasn't coming from the window. It was coming from inside her room, from the closet. She froze, pulling the blanket up to her chin, her eyes wide and locked on the old wooden closet near her bathroom door. In the dim light, she could have sworn she saw the small metal handle trembling, just slightly. A scream was trapped in her throat, a choked, silent gasp. She tried to tell herself it was just her imagination, that she was tired from studying, that the old building was just settling. But the silence that followed was heavy, suffocating. Finally, mustering every ounce of courage she had, she whispered into the darkness, "Who's there?" The only reply was the frantic thumping of her own heart. And then, it happened again. Slower this time, more deliberate. Knock, knock, knock. Panic set in. She fumbled for her phone on the nightstand, her only thought to blast the room with the flashlight. But when she pressed the home button, the screen remained black. Dead battery, of course. It felt like a scene straight out of a horror movie. A sudden chill filled the room, so intense that her breath fogged in the air right in front of her face. The temperature had dropped dramatically. Shaking uncontrollably, she slowly swung her legs off the bed, her bare feet touching the cold, wooden floor. Each step was a monumental effort. One step toward the closet, then another. The air felt thick, heavy, like wading through water. Just as she reached for the handle, one final sharp knock echoed from the other side. Knock. Fueled by a surge of adrenaline and terror, she ripped the closet door open and found nothing. Just her clothes, hanging neatly on their hangers, swaying gently as if someone, or something, had just brushed past them. The air inside smelled musty and old. Relief and confusion washed over her. She slammed the door shut, her back pressed against it, and slid to the floor, her heart still racing. She didn't sleep another wink that night, sitting with her back to the closet until the first rays of morning sunlight streamed through her window. The next day at university, she couldn't focus. The sound of the knocking replayed in her mind. During a break, she told her classmate, Maria, about her terrifying night. She expected Maria to laugh it off, to tell her she was just stressed. But instead, Maria's face grew pale. "Wait," Maria said, her brow furrowed. "What room did you say you were in?" "Room 313, Laura replied. Maria frowned. "That's not possible. That room's been empty for a year. They couldn't find anyone willing to take it." She leaned in closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "The last girl who stayed there, she just disappeared, vanished. They never found her." Laura's blood ran cold. It had to be a coincidence, a rumor. She tried to laugh it off, but Maria's serious expression was unsettling. Lara spent the rest of the day trying to convince herself it was all a stupid story, a campus urban legend. That evening, she returned to the dorm, her mind a whirlwind of fear and doubt. As she walked down the dimly lit 3rd-floor hallway, she saw it, her door, room 313. It was slightly ajar. She froze. She knew, with absolute certainty, that she had locked it that morning. She always did. Her hand trembled as she pushed the door open, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her chest. She scanned the room, her eyes darting into every corner. Everything looked exactly as she had left it. Her books were stacked on the desk. Her laptop was closed. Her bed was unmade. Everything was the same. Except for one thing. Scrawled across the surface of her vanity mirror, in what looked like bright red lipstick, were 3 chilling words. "Don't open again." Lara stumbled back, a gasp escaping her lips. This wasn't a prank. This wasn't a dream. This was real. She wanted to run, to pack her bags and never look back. But where would she go? It was the middle of the night. Her rational mind warred with her primal fear. Maybe it was a cruel prank from another tenant. Maybe. She spent the night huddled on her bed, with every light in the room switched on, her back against the headboard, facing the closet. She didn't sleep. She just waited. And just as the clock on her dead phone would have struck midnight, the sound returned. Knock, knock, knock. But this time, it wasn't coming from the closet. It was coming from directly under her bed. Lara never spoke about what happened next. She left the dorm the very next day, leaving most of her belongings behind. She transferred universities, moved back home, and refused to ever speak of room 313 again. Weeks later, the landlady received complaints from the tenant in room 312 about a strange, foul smell coming from the empty room next door. Armed with a master key, the landlady went to investigate. When she opened the door to 313, she was hit by a wave of cold, stagnant air. She flicked the light switch, but the bulb wouldn't turn on. Using a flashlight, she scanned the room. It was just as the last tenant had left it, a chaotic mess of abandoned belongings. The smell seemed to be strongest near the closet. Holding her breath, she pulled the closet door open, and she screamed. It wasn't what was in the closet, but what was asterisk on asterisk the closet. Taped to the inside of the door was a cracked, grimy mirror that hadn't been there before, and pressed against the glass, faint but unmistakable, was the perfect, bloody handprint of a young woman. No one has ever rented room 313 since the door remains locked, the number faded. But some students, the ones who stay up late studying in the nearby rooms, say that if you walk down that third-floor hallway late at night, and if you listen very, very carefully, you might just hear it. A soft, pleading sound from behind the door. Knock, knock, knock. Thanks for watching, everyone. What do you think was in the closet? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next dive into the darkness. Stay safe out there, and until next time,